As the Warriors have endured an up-and-down season, it's probably easy to forget that they've got the all-time greatest shooter on their team. He's averaging the lowest points per game in 12 seasons, he's under 40% on threes, and the most threes he's hit in one game was 8. But in a must-win game on the road, after falling down by 17, Steph Curry reminded us all that he's still a member of the family, but not the distant cousin or the elderly grandpa. He's the original Splash Brother. It's always hard to tell in the beginning of a game whether this is going to be the night, but he wasted little time. Pajemski sets a very solid flare screen, and I think Curry would have gotten a good shot had he kept going to the corner. But after the clamp by BP, he lays a suspiciously aggressive screen on Franz that forced a switch, and a simple right-left on the catch of the handoff caught Cole Anthony a step away as Curry drops in his first three of the night. The Magic opened up on fire, hitting 15 of 18 first-quarter shots, so I could see why Curry wanted to get in on that action. With a semi-heat check, he pulls from 30 feet when KCP gave him 4 feet of space, and it was on target but a few inches long as Curry tried to guide it in with his leg. It doesn't take hitting double-digit threes for Curry to draw defenders to him. The scouting report has been in for over a decade. Another dubious screen from Gary Payton II gets Curry by KCP, and Banchero is late getting into his turn-and-run defense. Watch how Curry uses his right arm for leverage as Banchero gets his arms up to make it clear he's not fouling. Curry then jumps straight up to protect the ball with his body, while also using the rim as another obstacle to lay it in high off the glass. A great way to ensure the ball screener's defender is late to the party is this motion weak set from the Spurs playbook. Curry makes a shallow cut to the weak side, but the real key to this set is BP screening for Quentin Post. Look how far behind the play Bitadze is. KCP can't get around the screen all the way, there is no other deterrence, and he gets a wide open look for his second triple. In his prime, Curry would get more points in the paint as an elite finisher, and he still has enough burst to get by Franz Wagner in the open court, but he knows he has to stretch a little to keep the bigger defender from blocking this from behind as he goes off both feet. KCP is a great perimeter defender, and normally you'd see him pick Curry up much earlier than this, especially after he'd hit a couple. Watch how Curry floats the dribble and then dips the ball into the shot. This is the cheat code to generate effortless power and essentially turn this pull-up into a catch-and-shoot shot. There were years where over 25% of Curry's points came from the mid-range. However, that's now below 8%. Although, teams will still defend him well, with Carter Jr. waiting for him above the three-point line and KCP chasing. I like the bouncy hop he adds to this shot for a quick release, but he again misses off the back rim. Get action is a staple of the triangle offense, and Steve Kerr has kept that alive and well in Golden State as Curry pitches it ahead and follows the ball back to the outside for the handoff. It immediately gets KCP chasing. Carter should have dropped to help contain, but credit to Caldwell Pope for hustling back, doing the old vet trick with the hand gently pushing in the back of an airborne player, and I don't know why Curry didn't go off glass with this one, but consider this a shot assist as Knox sends it back down strong. The perils of driving to the basket and not getting a call with a little hip-to-hip contact is that if you end up on the floor for too long, you give Curry a chance to get down the court on the dribble and force someone else to guard him. In this case, it had to be their center, so Curry gets into his bag with a tween, pound, step back, hop, quick release, rainmaker, splash. Maybe because he's a guard, they're letting BP be a little handsy on his screens as Jamal Mosley is upset the refs aren't calling it. But Cole Anthony holds his ground, contests well, and Curry again hits that same back rim. And then we get to the fireworks. I've been preaching the value of the one-legged three-pointer for a long time now, and the power generation is the key. By going full speed off one foot, it allows Steph to focus on the most important thing, keeping this ball straight. And straight it was, as the Magic foolishly didn't find him in the backcourt, as Curry is one of those guys who's not afraid to hurt his three-point percentage with end-of-quarter shots. And this one was the spark that brought the Warriors right back into this game in a hurry. If you were wondering how the third quarter was going to go, just check Coach Mosley and Paolo Banchero's reaction to this shot. Now imagine your reaction if you got to see Curry do this live. That's why you must download SeatGeek for all your tickets to concerts, sporting events, and the theater. Just check for the green dots. They let you know the price is a great value. It's the easiest app I've ever used to get tickets, and I've got the hookup. With my code BBALL10, you'll get 10% off of every purchase you make. So act now, since this offer may not last long. Hit my link, don't worry about being called a geek, that's cool these days, and enjoy all your favorite concerts and sporting events. Save 10% with my code BBALL10, and you'll be able to see the Warriors run horns in the second half with Draymond and Jimmy as double high posts. It's an automatic flare screen when Jimmy gets the ball, and this is hard to guard because if Banchero goes to Steph to help, Draymond can just slip to the hoop for a layup. And there isn't anyone better at the shot fake sidestep three-point shot. And if there was any doubt how hot Steph was, then this ridiculous bounce off the top edge of the backboard and then soft front rim bounce should settle that debate. Here's how hard it is to guard Steph Curry. You've got to deal with a big 7-footer setting a pin down, and if you don't get around it, he's knocking down the open three. So KCP starts to cheat a little higher to help him get a better angle around that screen. But then Steph rejects the screen to cut back door. He was open, but not looking for it, knowing full well that this offense never stops flowing. Butler runs get action, which is just misdirection. Watch how post goes right to another pin down to nail. Curry had been walking through the lane to put KCP to sleep, then blasts off that screen, and the key is that he veers towards Jimmy to make the catch so he can get his momentum going straight up into the jump instead of fading away. Hard to believe he's still out here getting wide open shots like this. With the Magic reeling, and let's face it, they're the worst three-point shooting team in the league by a wide margin, they weren't going to go 7 for 14 in the second half like they did in the first. Their big lead evaporated within 6 minutes. More reasons it's so hard to guard Steph. You've got to pick him up as close to half court as possible to slow him down and contain. KCP doesn't quite get there until he's well within Curry range, and the drag screen by GP2 gets rejected, something Steph loves to do going to his left. But what are you supposed to do when he can stop on a dime, go behind the back to protect the ball, and then hop back for an extra few feet of space before dropping his 8th three-pointer in? And now Klay has to be worried about his single-game record of 14. Another good trait all point guards have is their willingness to advance the ball up the court with the pass on the break. They know full well it can come back to them when Cole Anthony foolishly chases Buddy to the corner despite Banchero already being in decent position. That leaves no one on Steph, where he can actually interrupt his rhythm by hesitating and still swish this one in perfectly. Stopping momentum and then shooting like this is the pinnacle of shooting skill. The Magic got better at picking up Curry earlier before he could just pull up from deep, but I don't recommend reaching in casually like this, as he immediately goes tween and gets a big advantage on the drive downhill. Franz doesn't want to leave good shooting Buddy, but he probably should have, as Curry wards off Anthony Black's arm before going up for the open 16-footer. At this point, Steph was 12 for 17 from the field, 9 for 12 from 3, and the Magic were strangely unwilling to send a second defender to him, even with a mismatch on the perimeter like this. The crossover gets him a step, and watch how he utilizes a jab step with the inside foot that allows him to smoothly push away from the defender and then add a little fade, combined with his right leg lift to help control his in-air turn, which is vital in order to get proper alignment while driving to his right. More evidence of how hard it is to guard this darn guy. They run their patented low post split, this time with Curry back screening for GP2. Worried about the cut for a layup, the Magic screw up the switch, with Curry getting another screen to the wing for good measure. Credit to Banchero for jumping out, and notice how much Curry has to rotate in the air when going in this direction. You simply can't take a break for even a split second against him. I'm sure KCP thought he could rest while Post got the roll pass. But Curry is replacing to the line immediately, Post makes the easy pass, and it's over before it began for KCP. In crunch time, the game tightened up as the Magic found their three-point stroke, so Curry had to dig deep into his bag. Jimmy wanted to cut to the top, but Curry wanted to run get action. Luckily, Jimmy has quick hands. This didn't fool the defense, but it gave him a sliver of daylight, and that's got to be a 55-degree arc on that shot over Wagner and right down into the hoop. With only a 4-point lead, they run another low post split. This was a mistake to go underneath the split screen, but credit to the hustle, as Steph has to execute a right-left footwork to his right and rushed it to get it off. Here's that motion weak set they ran to perfection earlier, but Carter Jr. avoided the screen enough to get above the three-point line on time. However, it gave the Warriors a mismatch, which drew two defenders to Curry, and now Golden State has an advantage they don't intend to give up. BP is great at running into the catch, which gets him right into the middle, and Banchero loses concentration slightly as he ball watches and doesn't realize Curry cut back to the top. And remember what I said about his ability to shot fake, sidestep, splash, even in the clutch. Now, this made no sense to me. The Magic gave up two key offensive boards at a crucial moment where they could have stolen this game with a 2-for-1 on their end. This kind of thing can happen, but it's what you do in reaction to adverse conditions that decide these games. So someone will have to explain why, down by 3, under 10 seconds on the shot clock, and over 40 seconds on the game clock, did KCP foul Curry here? It looks like he took it on purpose, and the only thing I can think of is that he thought they were down by 4. That put the Warriors up by 5 and ended the game, allowing Curry to remind us of how good he still is while also putting the team on his back and willing them to victory. They're only a half game from 6th place in the Western Conference, and we all win knowing that we get to enjoy another playoff season with Steph Curry.